This video was sent to me by the homeowner, and based on this video I decided to go up there that evening, the same day of the catch, to move them because I was confident it was a catch.
Good evening. May 13th, Monday. It's about 10:45, 61 degrees, Rockford, Michigan. So you saw in the video, that's all I had from the homeowner. I had to determine from that video, that length, and whether they were in here or not. And I was pretty confident that they're in here. It was past scouting and it was orientation flights, but this one is a little higher than some of the other ones. I mean, I definitely got to get on the ladder. So I was kind of come up with a plan on the way here, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll just have to get on the ladder and pop the feed plug in the top and look down like I do. And if I got bee eyeballs staring at me, then they're in there, right? But when I was standing under it, I forgot about the old, from our Facebook group, Honeybee Swarm Catching, all one word, Honeybee Swarm Catching, the old DW emergency refusal to move in entrance that I put on these for the first time this year. I'm not going to go over what a refusal to move in is, but basically it's, you know, the bees are on the bottom here and you need to get them in because for some reason they're not using your primary entrance. You got this plug in here. So I'm going to try and show you something cool, because when I was standing underneath it, I was like, well, I could just pull that plug and shine a light up there, and pulled the plug, shine a light up there. There's tons of bees, so I already closed the door, but hopefully I can get a shot of this because it's actually pretty cool. So there you go, shining my flashlight through the lower louvered vent. I can get a shot of the inside. Super cool, but I was obviously able to shine my flashlight in here from the bottom and get the visual I needed at the beginning. This is just to get footage for you, but that's pretty sweet. Love it. Another use for the bottom plug. All right, so here we go. We got the old trap down in a 5/5 nuke, baited in the top like I normally would. One drawn comb, 4 starter strips. But anyways, this one's put up differently. I just want to show it. It's put up with a cleat system. So, you know, you have the one wedge to the tree and then the wedge on the box. It's just simply 2 screws in the tree, 2 screws in the box, and then a ratchet strap for safety. I don't like anything coming down. We got an entrance here with a nail, but this is the same setup that I caught at our bee yard. Every year, I've been just pulling down traps, taking them home and installing them and leaving no trap at the catch site. But I'm motivated to leave no orphans. Again, I have no orphans here. Also, these are not my bees. They're not even within striking distance of my apiary, miles away. The reason why I'm doing this, going through all this effort, is to start catching these secondary and cast-off swarms. If I find that a queen's got good genetics, why would I not want her daughter? So the old queen is leaving. She's leaving behind swarm cells, which are her daughters. And some of them daughters might actually take bees with them in the form of a cast-off or a secondary swarm, a virgin queen, and end up in my trap. So like at my yard, I actually have a colony that is the mother, and next to her to the left is 2 of her daughters. That's the way it's set up right now. And then if I were to catch a cast-off or a secondary swarm here, I would be catching the daughter of the one that's in the trap right now. Like I said, if they're good genetics, why would I not want more of it? So I'm going to focus hard on catching cast-off and secondary swarms this year. I'm going to focus hard on always leaving a trap in the tree and not taking a trap away. To do an install, sometimes it was 3 days round trip before I got a trap back up. I put a trap immediately up in our bee yard, and 2 days later when I showed up, there was already a move-in. 3 days is too long for those cast-off and secondary swarms. So it's something I'm working on this year, but I really dug this cleat system. I want to say when I put the ratchet strap on, it actually pulled it perfectly into level, because the ratchet strap's up high enough and I needed to tilt that more towards the tree. Pulled it perfectly into level, as tight as I could get it, and I'm able to walk away. Probably one of the slickest and quickest swarm traps I've ever hung. So this will be some projects for the winter, looking more into these 5-frame nukes. Good afternoon, Tuesday. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We just got done installing a cast-off secondary swarm from our apiary. Not proud of that. This one caught yesterday, and I'm going to install it today. If you know, I started a Facebook group
2 years ago, Honeybee swarm catching. We got like 45,000 members and great participation. The group is great, not because of me, but because of the members and the moderators. So I mentioned DW earlier. He's a moderator. Comes up with a lot of great techniques and ideas and inventions. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a great group, not because of me, but because of the members and the moderators. But so we got that bottom hole underneath, and some of the things that come up in that group a lot are, when do I take my, I call it, when do I take my swarm trap down? And I've heard people say leave them over a week, 2 weeks, and I couldn't disagree more. Now, if you're running Texas deeps like RTX Honeybees, another YouTube channel, great YouTube channel, check it out. Another gentleman who is designing things and creating things and innovating things in beekeeping. All the stuff that I enjoy seeing and all the stuff I like to keep track of. Check out his channel, RTX Honeybees. So anyways, if you're running Texas deeps, I mean, I think his frames are almost as deep as this. They're as deep as two nukes stacked on top of each other. Anyways, check out his channel. Certainly you have longer time that you can leave your catch. My frames only come to here. This is a primary swarm as far as I believe, full of nectar and ready to build. They will continue on my drawn comb before they start other frames, and that's just simply waste. You have to cut it out. There could be brood in there. You're wasting the wax unless you can rubber band it in. You could be wasting brood, you're wasting resources, and one thing we know for sure, so say you're excellent in all those areas, impossible. Say you're excellent to all those areas, you don't waste any wax, you don't waste any resources. The one thing that you also are doing is wasting their effort to build all that comb. And these bees are on the clock as far as the day they're going to die. And bees are going to die every day, and bees are not going to be born for 28 days or a month, depending on whether over here, like I have a virgin queen, or this is mated, or they got to fatten her up, or whatever. So the population is always going to be dwindling. I caught this yesterday, I believe. I am transferring it today. I get them into their new home as quick as possible. I want to make sure that everything's level so that any effort they're putting in or any comb that they're drawing is done right. I see a lot of traps in trees that are like this. You leave this for a week, you're going to have a mess on your hands. And I just find it to be sad. I believe that we're stewards and shepherds for these bees, and we should behave that way. We should do everything we can, give them the best survival. These swarms are vulnerable. Some are stronger than others. I've had super weak ones come out of winter great. I've had super strong ones not make it through the winter. So you just never know. But we owe it to them to do the best we can. That's what I believe. And part of that process is for me to get them out of here as quick as possible, within reason. Now, if I believe that this is a secondary or a cast-off swarm with a virgin queen, such as the one over here, this one's been in there 5 days, I will extend it in the hopes of getting her mated successfully and back in there before I transfer, right? I'll mate her in the trap, and then I'll put her in the colony. It's hard to determine whether it's a virgin queen or not. I'm basing it on the fact that I caught him at my yard. It was the next 2 days after I caught a primary swarm. You know what I'm saying? Plus, if you saw the video, that's a small population. So I like to get them in there quickly. Everybody has their own way of doing things, but me, in my experience, a week has been way too long. I've had so much comb on the bottom that I had to destroy, and they're so small, right? They're not like a whole frame that you can't even really rubber band them in there. Back to DW though, the moderator and Honeybee swarm catching, all one word, Honeybee swarm catching, 45,000 members, check it out. He has a cage system that you can put smaller pieces of comb in because he does cutouts and does all kinds of stuff. He's awesome. So here we go. Pretty cool footage at the beginning of this video that you saw where we were able to look through the bottom based on suggestions. The group I mentioned, pretty awesome, man. It's a great place to be with people that are super excited about the same things you are. Never would have thought it would have 40,000 members. After the catches, I label my frames. 24. Both sides in case one side gets all funky. Didn't do this in the beginning. Wished I would have. Now I got a bunch of frames with no identification of when they were put into service. This is smaller than the other one. Wow. This makes me wonder where the primary swarm is at and why it wasn't in my trap. But look how calm they are. Really good girls. And this is how I install swarms. I'll take a quick look for a queen, and in my experience usually it's this one. She lays in the freshly drawn comb, not the bait comb. I started paying more attention last year, and that was an observation I made last year, because we were always told that you put the bait comb in there so she can immediately start laying. And then when you grab these bait combs, they weigh a ton. There isn't an egg in them. So here's another observation. Look how calm they're being. You'll have to go back to my other video, but trust me, look how calm they're being compared to the one that was in the trap for 5 days that we just set in there. They're still in swarm mode. Plus, they've probably lived in a bivouac in a tree somewhere for a couple days in cold evenings. I mean, you have to suspect they're tired and not completely back into, fighting shape or up to their fighting weight. They're trying to deposit as much nectar as they can in here. That takes time, and they're just really, really calm. Boy, not much to this one, huh? We're gonna leave them for a little while. We're gonna let them figure it out on their own. We got some fanners at the top here. Take a better look inside the trap here. Again, just to make sure the queen's not left behind. We'll put the trap in front of it, door open. These are going to be closed later, these entrances, down to a single hole. There's just not many bees. They're going to continue to die. I'm not able to boost them with any brood or anything. These are truly going to be 2 standalone nukes. Again, I'm sorry to keep talking about the other one. You'll have to check out the video, or if it's not up, it'll be up soon. Just going to have to do it on their own. So anyways, there's a couple bees in there. There's not a ton. Concerned that there's not a ton of fanning going on, but they don't even know where that entrance is. So here's the coolest thing. It just takes one fanning saying, hey, we moved again. How awesome is that? So we got the trap propped up in front. We're hoping the fanning will take place and they'll march in before it gets dark out or any weather comes in. Again, not the greatest day to do it, but we did it. We did them both successfully. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope your bees are well.